Sir, we have an executive order ordering the declassification of files relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a big one, huh? A lot of people are waiting for this for years, and everything will be revealed. Give that to RFK Jr.
Yes, sir.
President Donald Trump just made good on one of his many promises on the campaign trail. This particular promise was to RFK Jr. To declassify government files on the JFK, RFK, and MLK Jr. assassinations through executive order. And that's the video where he was doing just that. So Trump talked about the JFK files and why he didn't fully declassify them in his first term when he appeared on Joe Rogan's podcast. Let's take a quick look at that.
They called me, a lot of good people called me, people that that you would find reasonable people. And they asked me not to do it. So I said, well, we'll close it for another time. But if I win, I'm going to open them up. I'm just going to open enough time.
Why didn't you open it up the first time?
Because
though?
a lot of times,
what was the hesitation? Though?
Addresses, people that are still living. There are people that are affected, and there could be some national security reason that that I don't have to necessarily know about.
How much of it did you read into?
I think it's going to be just fine to open it. Let me put it that way. I think it's fine. It's going to be time. It's a cleansing, it's really a cleansing. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it immediately, almost immediately upon entering office.
Well, the thing, when people look at it from the outside and you sort of imagine what could be a reason why they would not release those files, it would be there's people that were implicated in the assassination.
Yeah. Well, when there are living people, you generally tend not to want to do it. When people are still living people that formerly work for the government. And living people that were somehow involved in it, and you tend not to do that. But it's time to open them.
And open them, he did. Trump also admitted on the All In podcast that the CIA was probably behind the effort to stop declassification in his first term. Let's just quickly listen to that.
RFK says the CIA killed his uncle. Do you believe that?
Well, this wasn't CIA that asked me, but I think CIA was probably behind it. But they didn't. They would have preferred that I not release the rest of it.
And apparently, prior to his executive order, we already had most of the JFK files. After a release of some of the JFK files in 2022, the National Archives and Records Administration said 97% of the roughly 5 million pages in its collection related to the assassination were made public. But as you are likely aware, it's widely suspected. It's a widely suspected conspiracy that the CIA was involved, or our intelligence community was involved in the assassinations of JFK, MLK, and possibly RFK as well.
So in a minute, we're going to get to the files that were not released, which is going to be interesting. But overall, first I want to say, Anna said that this was a promise to RFK Jr. That's definitely true. But it was also a promise to his base. MAGA loves this. Universal. Almost everyone in MAGA. I've never seen anyone who didn't want these files released. And I'd like to remind our side that this was a left-wing position. So the right wing has come to our position on this of, hey, let's find out who actually killed Martin Luther King Jr. and Bobby Kennedy and JFK, all left-wing heroes. Did some nefarious group, whether they're inside or outside the government, kill all of our left-wing heroes? If you're on the left wing, you should be ecstatic about this no matter where it comes from. Please don't get to a point where you're like, oh, I can't believe that they gave me a victory. I hate them. Take the win. So is it gonna be a big win? Of course we don't know, because we don't know what's in the freaking files, right? So they released a lot of files already, but they kept some behind. I imagine they kept them behind for a reason when they released the others. So this stuff probably has more interesting information, but does it actually have the people who actually killed those folks? Because I don't believe any of the official stories. The official stories on, especially on Bobby Kennedy, but on JFK too. MLK I know less about, but the two Kennedys, the official stories are comical. You have to have establishment brain to believe them. Oh yeah, I believe there was a magic bullet as long as the government tells me there was a magic bullet. Yeah, I bet that makes sense. Okay, oh yeah, he shot him from like 2 planets away, probably, yeah. Oh, a mobster killed Lee Harvey Oswald because he was so patriotic. Okay, whatever you want to believe. So I don't know if the real answers are in those files, but at least we get to find out, and that's great. So I've been looking forward to this for a long time. I hope there are some answers in there, but of course the one file not released, the Epstein files. Yeah.
I wonder if we'll ever find out in our lifetime. And I get what you're alluding to there in regard to all the powerful people currently alive who might be named in the Epstein files, including Donald Trump, who, by the way, partied with Epstein, said that they had a falling out eventually, but who knows? I just want to say one final thing about this story though, Cenk, because you're not the only one who believes that there was a conspiracy behind these assassinations. In fact, in 2023, Gallup did a survey on this and the results were fascinating. So let's take a look at this chart. Only 29% of Americans believe one man was responsible for the killing of JFK, whereas a whopping 65% of Americans believe that there were others involved. Gallup asked those who believe Kennedy's assassination was the work of multiple actors to name the specific people or groups they think were responsible. And they cited the federal government at 20%, the CIA 16%, more often than other possible perpetrators of that assassination.
Yeah, I want to clarify one thing. The conspiracy theory about JFK is that Lee Harvey Oswald killed him. With a magic bullet that hit like 17 different things at once. I'm doing hyperbole, guys, but not by much. And so they if Alex Jones came up with a theory on how Lee Harvey Oswald killed JFK, everyone would laugh him out of the room. It's absurd. There's no chance it's true. None, I guarantee it. Now I don't know if we're gonna find out in the files or not, but so Dirge made a good point again, one of our members on TYT.com. Didn't Trump already tell us Ted Cruz's dad was involved with JFK?
That's right, yeah.
How hilarious would it be if he released the files and it actually was Ted Cruz's dad? And then
That'd be amazing.
The file would say that later his son would go on to become the Zodiac killer. Okay, none of that is true. It was Ted Cruz or his dad. But last thing, it's not just that Trump partied with Epstein and said publicly that he knows that he likes girls that are young and knew him and partied with him for a long amount of time. It's not, there's potentially other Republicans on that list, certainly Democrats on that list. But also you want to talk about theories, there's a theory that Epstein was working for Israel. There's no way they're releasing those files. They're not gonna release those files for 100 years, 200 years, or maybe ever. If you enjoyed this video, that's because of our members. They make us independent, they make us strong, and they make us honest. Become a member today by hitting the join button below.